Hello traders, Rich here, and here's a quick but detailed update on AUDUSD. As usual, if you guys like video analysis, let me know in the comments or simply leave a like. So let's get started. As we clearly see, AUDUSD has been overall bullish for a while, making higher highs and higher lows. However, it's currently approaching a very strong resistance area. It was acting as resistance previously, then price broke it upward, became support, then price broke it downward, became resistance, and since price is now approaching it from the downside, we'll be looking for sell setups as this zone is acting as a resistance area, unless of course price breaks it upward again with many big bullish candles from daily time frame just like here. Then it would become support again, and we'll be looking for buy setups on the retest. But let's take it step by step, right? For now, our zone is acting as a resistance, so as price dives inside it, we'll be looking for sell setups, and I insist on the word looking, because price, as mentioned previously, can still go up, dive inside it to get more liquidity to be able to push price down or even break it upward. So we always zoom into lower time frames for extra confirmation. From H4 time frame, you can see that this bullish trend is engulfed by this rising broadening wedge, as we can see in brown. We've got our impulse correction, and we are currently in this impulse phase, waiting for the sellers to take over to catch the next correction movement down. So as mentioned from daily, AUDUSD can still trade higher, right, before trading lower, but we are looking for sell setups anyway. Of course, as price approaches the lower bound, which is our lower brown trend line acting as a non-horizontal support, we'll be looking for buy setups. We also have here a supply zone, a minor one from H4 time frame, so we can look for sell setups starting from here, knowing that it can trade higher before trading lower. If we zoom into M30 time frame, we can see that currently AUDUSD is stuck inside a range in the shape of a rising channel, right? So as per my trading plan, I'll be waiting for a new swing low to form around it to consider it valid, and then we'll be selling on to break downward. Of course, for extra confirmation, since we have a flat range, it's always good to wait for extra confirmation, which would be a break below the entire range. That's why I have my trigger swing around this area. For those who know me, I always highlight it. Oops, not this one. Highlight it like this, trigger, and when the sell is activated, of course it's just a projection for now. Price can still trade higher and invalidate our setup. In this case, as it dives inside this area, we'll be looking for new sell setups. But let's say price activates this sell setup, the stop loss would be above the previous high, and we target 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio to have an edge over the market from risk management perspective, which would be our take profit around the lower trend line, which we saw from daily, which is a non-horizontal support. And of course, as price approaches it, we'll be looking for buy setups. Before we continue, I want to tell you about Tickmill. Tickmill is established in 2014 and is one of the leading Forex and CFD brokers with registered users from more than 200 different countries. Tickmill is a no-dealing desk and ECN broker regulated in many countries like the UK, Cyprus, and recently in South Africa. With Tickmill, you can trade a wide range of instruments, starting from Forex to indices, commodities, and even crypto. Most importantly, with very low spreads and trading fees. If you don't have an account yet, make sure to create one using my referral link in the description below to benefit from 5% discounts on your trading fees. And let's continue. As we clearly see, AUDUSD has been trading inside this giant symmetric triangle, as we can see in brown, and it's currently sitting around the lower bound or lower trend line, acting as a non-horizontal support. So we'll be looking for buy setups as price approaches it. Moreover, we have the support and resistance was acting as support previously, then price broke it downward, it's now acting as a resistance, then price broke it upward again, so it's acting as support and support. And we also have an aggressive movement outward from here, so it's also a demand area. So this area is the intersection of a demand, a support, and this non-horizontal support. That's why it's a very strong support area to look for buy setups. Of course, and as price approaches the upper band or the resistance area, we also have a gap here. We'll be looking for sell setups. If you zoom into daily time frame, we can see that the previous bearish trend is engulfed by this channel in orange, got our first impulse correction, another impulse movement down, and it's currently approaching also the lower trend line in orange. So as price approaches this area, we'll be looking for buy setups, and as mentioned from weekly, looking for sell around this area, as it would be the intersection of the horizontal support in blue and the upper orange trend line. If we zoom into M30 time frame, and as mentioned from daily and weekly, waiting for EURUSD to approach this support area to look for buy setups, we've got this channel forming now. So as for my trading plan, I'll be waiting for a new swing high to form around the upper right trend line to consider it our trigger swing. For those who know me, I always highlight it like this as our trigger. And in this case, if this happens when the buy is activated, the stop loss would be just below the previous swing low, and we target a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio to have an edge over the market from a risk management perspective. Of course, price can still invalidate our setup now by breaking above it. In this case, as price approaches the upper area, we'll be looking for sell, and as mentioned many times, as price dives inside the support area, we'll be looking for buy setups. That's it for EURUSD. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one.